Fabulous, fabulous. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm the Viva coach, your life coach for women and business coach for all. And good evening to you all. Good afternoons and perhaps early mornings as well. I'm sure, Rupert, it's late for you. So yeah, joys of global platforms, right? But good evening, good morning, and good afternoons, everyone. Welcome to the Viva Coach Experience. I'm so thrilled to have you all here tonight at the Viva Talk on business strategy. We have an incredible panelist lineup today, experts ready to share their insights with you all. So please welcome my esteemed panelists, Meta Clean Rupert, Boss Leo of Diamond Resilience, Black Sands, and Mark Swiss. Woohoo! Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Right. Okay. I think we should make a start. So our goal tonight is to do a dive deep right into the world of business strategy. We're going to explore both professional insights and also have some fun along the way. And how we're going to do that, we're going to have all sorts of different questions, but please do also think of questions that you might want to ask the panel as well. And we'll have an opportunity to do that hopefully in between and perhaps towards the end as well. Right. Okay, great. Let's do it. So to kick things off, I would like to ask all of you to do a quick intro. Now, I know looking at who is in the room and who's on the panel, we're probably very familiar, seeing very familiar faces, but let's do that and maybe sort of, add a little bit more about our sort of, experience around strategy that perhaps, our audience can take away today as well. So Rupert, I'm going to start with you, a quick intro and a little bit around sort of your strategy background as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Metaclean Rupert. I've been on the platform since December of 2021. I feel like I have a script when I say this now, like my elevator pitches. So I've been on the platform since December 2021. In short, I'm a UX specialist that helps businesses immerse themselves in virtual reality. And my strategy for business is to always create a moat. And for me, what a moat is the thing that separates you from your competition. The way I do that with some of the people that move in a similar capacity as I do is I try to add an immense amount of value with every interaction that I have with everybody that comes in contact with me.
Love it. Thank you so much for that, Rupert. Boss
Mhm.
Leo, I'm going to come to you next. We'll just go in order.
Absolutely. And thanks for having me. I'm Boss Leo IO, the founder of the Diamond Resilience. We're an elite network of creators and founders, just innovators in the space of the metaverse and Web3, pioneering in the space. I like to consider myself a venture studio for this ecosystem to provide the resources, the support, the funding to get those projects launched and to realize those full dreams all the way to who knows whatever you have in your mind in your future. But I'm on a mission to create the next Fortune 500 companies as we enter the Web3 era. And I want to help
Woohoo!
many people in this space get to that point.
Love it. Love it. Thanks for sharing that, Boss Leo. Black Sands.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Black Sands, and I am the owner of Startup Sprint LLC as well as Idea to Empire. Startup Sprint, I've been on this platform since 2020, June of 2020, right in the middle of the beginning of the pandemic. So, yeah, I've been on here for quite some time. Startup Sprint is a company that is IRL, and I help individuals to achieve financial freedom through entrepreneurship. And my motto with that is to educate, innovate, and launch. And so I help educate them on how to be a good entrepreneur, how to start up their business, and give them the foundation that they need to get started and connect them to the resources and the people to help them with that. Then I help them to innovate their ideas and make sure, so similar to what Rupert said about, differentiating themselves from their competition and then get them launched. And so that they have a successful business launch. With Idea to Empire, I go one step further and I work with established small businesses and I help to bring them into the metaverse. And then I help them to get established with a strategic plan and a marketing strategy so that they can expand their market reach and brand into the metaverse.
And that's me. Fabulous. Sounds like a one-stop shop if you want to start off and continue to grow. Love it. Thank you so much,
Hallelujah.
Sans. And Mark, yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Svers, and I'm the founder of a company called Immercell. At Immercell, my main mission and main goal is to empower and unlock the opportunity to do commerce in VR in immersive environments. I believe being able to do commerce in in this environment is the future of shopping. There are no
Mm-hmm.
other ways about it. um, we will eventually replace the 2D flat web page shopping that we are
Mm-hmm.
used to today. That's why I'm here. And I do that through two services. I help design and build a commerce focused presence for the business in the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
That means styling your brand image, your product image, telling your story to 200%. Another thing is I do have a unique technology to be able to achieve in-game checkout um, right here in Horizon Worlds. So any of the worlds that you design and build, whether it's with me or not, can now be an actual functioning store instead of a very localized, very enclosed marketing opportunity. And in terms of my strategy, business strategy side of things, I'm not a traditional business strategist, like maybe a lot of the panelists today, but I did start my whole metaverse journey in 2022, and today I am a profitable company.
Mm-hmm.
Immercell is a profitable company, and as some of you know, on the side, since I am a new dad, I just created another baby related business to, sort of grow with her and embrace all that experience. And that turns out to be profitable as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
do have a lot of experience in running relatively successful businesses, and am very happy to share it with you.
Love it. And you can't have a successful business without a successful strategy backing it all the way. So absolutely fantastic. That's almost like having a case study. And of course, most of you sort of, been in the world before. You would have seen Immersive shop. That is the Viva shop. That is the technology that sits behind it. And I know I've mentioned it to you all many, many times before as well. So that is exactly there. And of course, while you're in the world today, you can actually go and test it out. And of course, there's an opportunity for you to drop in a masterclass or a coaching session into a cart and experience the whole end-to-end process as well. So please do, when you get a chance after the session, perhaps go and
And
check
if
it
I
out
can
as well.
add, we're actually all customers of Mark. So if that says anything, um, yeah,
Thank you,
we've
thank you.
all at some point used his system in our worlds.
That's right.
Yes.
Absolutely. I
Yep.
really appreciate the shout out. And like I said, I'm here to help you grow and help you funnel that traffic you have worked so hard to collect
Hmm.
onto your actual profitable platforms. That's
Yeah.
that's what we're here about.
Yeah, and we absolutely still need to connect the two worlds, right? And this is a great way to be able to actually have that seamless sort of, journey, customer journey, or your client journey through your metaverse world into your real world as well. So I love that about it.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Well, look, you've heard from the panel. This is just intros, and we were already sort of hearing some absolutely fantastic gems thrown as well. But let's talk a little bit about the business strategies that you have. So you have in your intros, from what you've said, you're all business successful business entrepreneurs. You have been in this space a long time and you're super experienced. How do you align your company's long-term vision and mission to your strategy? Sort of, how does your business strategy aligns to that? You've talked about the vision and a mission a little bit there. I'm going to start with you, Rupert. So, each one of you kind of shared what you've been doing, how you've been doing it, but how are you setting a strategy that aligns to what you're doing? So, Rupert, can you give us a little bit of insight into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in my physical world, I've owned a number of companies. My wife and I had a fashion company. We were shipping product to department stores all across the country.
Mm-hmm.
I was, I made money as a creator working for myself as a photographer, doing graphic designs. And also I've participated and brought that company into the music business. In the metaverse, though, I think the strategy has to be about being agile. I'm going to use the terminology that you like to use, and only because on this platform, the business I have, MetaClean Presents,
Mm-hmm.
is centered around virtual reality. So we've been able to bring some things back out to the outside, and of course bring people from the outside back into the space, but it really is centered around this technology. And because of that and the speed at which technology changes, we have to be very cognizant of everything that's happening within the industry.
Mm-hmm.
What we see sometimes when we operate in this space really is just an end result of a consumer product that is just breaking in to the global market.
Yeah.
But the technology itself is already being immersed and used in every industry you can possibly think of, even if you don't know that it's happening. The military uses it for simulation training
Mm-hmm.
pretty often. Of course, the medical field is using it for not just research, but actual surgeries now, because they can now
Mm-hmm.
tie the technology in with robotics. So your surgeon doesn't even have to necessarily be in the same room as you anymore. And of
Yeah.
course, architecture and engineering have been using it for a while, but the interesting thing is that education is playing a big part into the technology now. I think a lot of us were kind of drawn to the space around the pandemic, and we saw how disruptive that was to industry, and
Mm-hmm.
how now this kind of solves those problems, right? So entrepreneurship or business or the strategy around doing any of those things has to start with fulfilling a need, and I just truly believe that virtual reality will fulfill the need for a lot of people, because we'll just be prepared for when these things happen to us again, which is not a question of if, it's just really a question of when.
Yeah, and it's just becoming
Mhm.
so much more accessible, right? And as soon as something becomes super accessible, what happens? It becomes
Yeah,
mainstream as well. So a lot of
right.
people are going to start off, using it, etc. as well. Awesome. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for that, Rupert.
Hmm.
Sans, now, you are, of course, very successful with your own businesses. You're also helping others achieve that level of success as well. So, how do you prioritize and set strategic objectives when there are multiple competing interests within business? Because again, we've seen pandemic, we've seen sort of, so many different shifts, and businesses have to pivot so quickly, so much. But also, sort of, we have our personal interests, especially as an entrepreneur. I find, sometimes your personal interests can, that's a
Mhm.
good example what you said before, Mark, right? With your business as a new dad, it's a very personal interest thing, but that has now ventured into something of a successful business. So, Sans, tell us a little bit about how to sort of, manage and prioritize those competing interests when you're setting up your business strategy and those objectives.
Absolutely. So, my business partner coined a phrase, and maybe this is someone else's phrase, but he always says impact over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so we have a lot of things that we have to do, and you can work 12 hours on something. Oh, I really worked hard and I put some, work
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
But what impact did it make on your business?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you spend 27 hours trying to pick out the perfect color for your logo? Or did
Mm-hmm.
you actually do some market research or get out there and grind
Yeah.
and sell some product,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's how I prioritize, and that's how I tell
Mm-hmm.
my people, my clients, what they
Mm-hmm.
need to do. And so, having some type of organizational management system is going to be great. I like Trello. I also like the notes in my phone. Like, it's very
Mm-hmm.
low
Yeah.
tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
tech, but it's low tech, and you just check them off as you go. And
I
I
Mm-hmm.
use
look
that
at,
all the time.
Yeah.
oh,
Same.
I,
wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah. See,
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
you just think about, what is the most urgent, okay, and what's going to
Mm-hmm.
make the biggest impact in your company right
Yeah.
now today to help you move forward.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you're going to be
I
successful.
really like that. I really
Yes,
like
ma'am.
that. Yeah, two
Yeah.
two things. I mean, you've talked about impact, value, and impact. Those are the
Yes.
two things that I'm kind of constantly testing every action against. Is this delivering value and impact? Yes, great, let's do
Mm-hmm.
it. And if not,
Yes.
you have to challenge yourself, even if it is something of a pet project
Mm-hmm.
that's bubbling
Mm-hmm.
up in mind, right? So I think that's really, really important, because we know we've
Absolutely.
all been there, and it's just so real, right? It happens, and we have so much, especially as an entrepreneur. I find you creative juices are always running. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's
Mm-hmm.
always that new idea to explore. There's always that new next thing to look into as well. Brilliant. Thank you for that. Thank you. And Mark, the system that you've talked about as well, e-commerce there, that is something of a kind where performance management, performance monitoring becomes super, super important. I've so many times spoke to sort of, previously on my panels as well, and through my podcast as well, talked about importance of data. turning that data into insight and using
Agreed.
that insight for decision making, right, in your
Hmm.
business. Such
Hmm.
an important follow through. So tell us a
Absolutely.
little bit about sort of, what key performance indicators, KPIs, as are often referred to, do you use to measure success of your business strategy?
Well, there are two elements that I would definitely consider are top of my metrics that I'm looking out for.
Mm-hmm.
One is how many people was able to use the system successfully, right?
Mm-hmm.
That ties into how many people are willing to use this system, which I often work with my the owner of the world
Yeah.
to get a tally of. So that's the first thing. A, they want to use it because it's designed in a very very accessible way. It's in easy to read colors. All the UI and UX, as Rupert talked about UX, are very clearly understood and user friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second indicator I track and help also report to the world owner is email click through rate,
Mm-hmm.
like how much emails are sent
Yeah.
versus how much emails are actually clicked.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to commerce, consider that a form of email marketing. You got
Mm-hmm.
to encourage the person to click through the link in the email to reach whether it's their checkout page or
Mm-hmm.
their IG page or anything like that. That's how you convert and generate value. And
Mm-hmm.
those are the things that I track.
Mm-hmm.
Identifying those things sometimes might not be very straightforward, but it should always start from the end goal,
Yeah.
right? For example, the end goal
Right.
is to help a business owner to funnel the traffic they have gathered in the world onto elsewhere. Then
Mm-hmm.
first point of contact in that journey is them and the customers entering their email. The second is after they get the email, they actually interact with the email. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I found these two indicators and define them.
Yeah, awesome. That's really insightful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And the reason I ask question around performance management and performance monitoring is because more than often I hear from my clients or those that I'm talking to that they've got a number of different actions and number of different activity happening in the business, but they're not always monitoring that closely to see how they're progressing with it, what impact that's delivering. Is it actually bringing value to back to the business as well as adding value to the customer? And if you don't monitor, you'll never know where the pain points are, what are the parts of the processes that you do need to redefine and reconvene with. So it's really important to look at your performance management portfolio. And your KPIs, your key performance indicators, they do not need to be tens and 20 in tens and 20s. You can literally just have, two or three. I mean, Mark just
Yeah.
talked us through two really important indicators. What is that really impacts your business and drives success for you and for your customer? Those are the ones, and not the lagging ones. They often, that's another mistake that I think a lot of people make, is they're often monitoring these lagging KPIs, whereas really you need to
Mhm.
focus on otherwise. So that's really
Yeah.
Mhm.
important part of it. Boss Leo, I'm going to come to you, and you are a female founder of a tech business. That in itself is something that needs a lot of agility. You need to sort of move with your strategy quite quickly as the technology is changing, as you're testing it out in the market, etc. But at the same time, you're taking so many businesses through sort of that startup process as well. How do you manage between sort of looking in the mirror to your own strategy while supporting others developing theirs?
Yeah, a phrase come to mind when it says that the best way to learn something is to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And I come with an open mind when I work with other businesses that in a similar niche as mine. And just like when he says, when it comes to market research, you're learning about your market. I'm not coming
Mm-hmm.
in with like, this is my business model, this is my idea,
Mm-hmm.
because we are still in the early phase of the metaverse. Some of the most amazing companies like NVIDIA,
Mm-hmm.
they started out just as a gaming company, even
Yeah.
with Blender.
Mm-hmm.
Even Amazon, they just wanted a piece of the pie to say, hey, I know the internet, this is big.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot give up on this. And their first business was selling what, like a book repository, I
Books.
believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
Mm-hmm.
bookstore.
That's
And
right.
now look at how it's grown to this largest e-commerce retailer, nearly about to take over the world here. So when I'm in this space, I'm allowing myself to learn because we're building things for the first time. We're pioneering in the space, even though we might
Yeah.
feel like fishes in the ocean, fish in the oceans
Mm-hmm.
here. We're still pioneering, we're learning, we're building a new market in
Yeah.
this space. And so when I work with other businesses, I work with them personally one on one to
Mm-hmm.
understand the use cases. Like, oh, you're in retail. How do that apply to what we're doing in the metaverse?
Yeah.
Where the future are we going with that? We know right
Mm-hmm.
now with holograms and the body scan and
Mm-hmm.
augmented reality. So it allows me to use my in real world skill set, which is being a project manager. Full time, I lead product development teams to develop products, software
Mm-hmm.
products, and deploy that to market. And I'm bringing that same skill set here. It's like if you have an idea and you want to build something off platform, which is a topic that isn't discussed much because as creatives, and we're moving into this social media,
Yeah.
because that's what all of this is social media, we're quickly losing our ownership of our creations, our identity, our data, and we need to be able to build off platform and build our own platforms for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get to take it one step further and say, how do we take what you do with in the metaverse that you've been able to test out and you figured out like, hey, this is something I really want to build. I like where this is going. I really want to turn this into an
Yeah.
actual business. So I
Yeah.
teach them how to transition from being a creative, a content creator, to building a legitimate software platform and taking that to market so you do have ownership there.
Yeah.
And so those things are really important when you
Mm-hmm.
think about your growth phase. And you're not going to make money, but we are in a unique times where you get to earn while you learn about your market that you can make money.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah.
if you're just
Absolutely.
testing it out,
Mm-hmm.
you can finally like get paid to test it out. And I think that's what changed the game for me because I come from the real pro where it's like, okay, it's going to take me like 6 months just to
Mm-hmm.
see if someone would even come and show up and
Yeah.
invest interest. But you mean to tell me that someone is willing to pay me $20 just to be on a directory that's probably going to cost me 100K for an AI developer to build a
Mm-hmm.
directory? That's traction. And that's
Yeah.
all we need in this space
Yeah.
is proof and validation that someone is willing to come pay you, come see you, and they believe in your mission and you're just telling your story. And so I love when that spark happens and when I'm working with founders and they say, okay, I have a new
Mm-hmm.
challenge. I'm a medical business. How are we going to
Mm-hmm.
do that in the metaverse? I'm like, all right, let's see what we can do.
That's what we
And
can
most
do. Yeah.
importantly, well, pretty much everyone on this panel and the audience, I get to lean on their expertise too and
Mm-hmm.
find like what they're good at with business. Like we're all in business, but we all have like different angles of how we support
Yeah.
Yeah.
business and we
Yeah.
discuss it. And I'm able to say, I know someone who does that, or I
Yeah.
know someone in that industry, let me consult with them. So it
Mm-hmm.
allows me to be in so many fields and industry, but also learn and build something. And
Yeah.
the best reward is we all can get paid from that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, isn't it? You can start kind of it is different in this space, and pricing strategy is also different in this space as well, right? When you start charging out even for sort of fully developed propositions, it's very different. And I think understanding that's part of that strategy process as well, your
Right.
market, your all of that. And boss Leo, kudos to you because it does take a huge amount of courage to be able to be on a learning path as well as supporting others to do the same. And experts do need experts, coaches need coaches, mentors need
Yeah.
mentors, and this is
Absolutely.
exactly. And I have all of them in my ecosystem, and I'm so blessed to have them all. And I would love to continue to grow that ecosystem as well because, like you say, we can help each other out in a number of different things. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you so much for that. Awesome. Right. Let's switch gears a little bit and have some fun with this discussion. So this is where fun questions come into play. So
All
right,
right.
let's see. Where do we go? I'm thinking, where do I go? Where do I go? Right. Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to start with Boss Leo. So, Boss Leo, you missed the Instagram live. I know you were having technical issues, and I asked this question to the panel on live. So, I'm going to actually give you an opportunity with that question as well. So, if your business strategy were a movie genre, what would it be and why?
Oh, I am not ready for that.
That's a loaded question. I know we all got
That's
kind of
a
stumped
loaded.
when she asked us that question.
My audience know I like to throw these kind of questions out. I mean, Second Life Rich, you were on the panel last time, and I like to throw those kind of questions out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Let
If
me
it
just
helps,
say
my
I was
original
happy.
answer was horror. My original answer was horror. So
Mine was action.
Mine was mystery. Just
Mystery.
saying.
yes,
And mine was
yes,
adventure. So
yeah,
you're gonna have to pick something different, boss. No, I'm
yeah.
kidding.
I landed
That's
on
even
thriller.
harder.
So
That's even harder.
I guess
I'm
So
kidding,
if
you can
anybody
pick.
knows me as Leo, they know I'm not gonna have one straight answer. I'm gonna have multiple ones. Because what comes to my mind, like as an entrepreneur, when I say I feel like I'm over the place, like I feel something every single time in my business.
Mhm.
Like one moment I'm having, I would say I got my spark, my calling when I watched this Korean drama. I'm a big C drama, K drama fan here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this Korean drama on Netflix called Startup.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's a romance drama, it made me realize that dang, like I know I'm a founder, but I want to be so much more than that. I want
Ah.
to be a venture studio. Like I want to fund projects like that, like feeling that girl, relating to her of like I dropped out of college. People don't think I'm qualified to be in the tech industry, but yet I'm a CEO of a tech company and we're building all these future tech that's got me. And then some
mm,
moments I'm feeling like the movie I can't think of with Will Smith and his child with the day trader. And it was like when
oh yeah,
someone gives me that chance, it's
Pursuit of
like I feel
happiness.
Pursuit of
pursuit of
Happiness. Yeah,
happiness.
Mm.
Man, when I say I be teary eyed every single time, I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
this is
Love that
worth it.
movie.
The drama.
This is worth.
Awesome.
Let me go
Mhm.
through it and everything. So, and then sometimes I feel like momentum, memento.
Ah,
That movie,
yes,
man.
yes.
It's like a mind game,
Mm.
with this business. Like it's
Mhm.
chess, and I only play checkers because I don't understand chess, and
Hilarious.
it's hard to
Hilarious.
understand this life game.
That's
Like I'm
funny.
figuring it out.
sounds like you're the whole movie theater. That's what it
I
sounds
have a
like.
whole movie
Yeah.
theater. I might do that, the Leo Theater of Life, because this is
Mhm.
but this
Great
is the
That's not a
life
bad
answer.
of an
idea.
Love it.
entrepreneur,
Great
Mhm.
answer. Great answer. Love
pivoting.
it.
You have to pivot. And
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur, that first idea you're going to have is not going to always be the one you marry. Like I have over 15
Right.
business
100%.
models. I'm
Yeah.
always pivoting. And when I have
Yeah.
an event and I didn't make a sale or I didn't get that partnership I want, I'm like, okay, that didn't work. Let me try
Mm.
something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Like it's all about, like you said, being agile and pivoting and pivoting.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. It's lonely. It's isolated.
Yeah.
And then when you get those
It's
rewards,
frustrating.
Yeah.
frustrating.
It
My
can be
gosh,
all
like
those
Yeah.
things. You're
I
right.
do
Yeah.
boxing, thank God. That is a stress reliever. It's a lot,
Yeah.
and so I feel different things. But I guess my genre is, I don't know the genre of it, but wherever Black Mirror category
Mm.
falls
Oh yeah.
in,
Yeah.
Love,
Yeah.
Death, and Robots, that's my
Suspenseful
vibe.
drama.
Ah, yeah.
Mm.
And
Suspense
almost
and all sorts.
sci-fi-ish, right?
Yeah.
Sci-fi drama.
Yeah.
Sci-fi,
Yeah,
Oh,
But to be
sci-fi
that
honest,
drama.
now that
sounds
I
like great. That
now
sounds
that
like a
I
great summary,
reflect
by the
back
way.
to it, it is right. Now that I reflect back to it, actually, all of our answers together, including horror, Rupert,
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
make the world of entrepreneurship.
yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
I can feel the horror
Totally.
part.
I love it. Great
Yes.
answer, boss
I
Leo.
landed on thriller. I started with horror, but I landed on thriller. That's
But it's
obviously
something.
the less
Something's telling me there can
palatable.
be days of horror as well. Let's just
Oh
face
yeah,
it. Let's
Oh
just
yeah.
face
Oh
it.
Totally.
yeah.
Oh yeah, there is some
Oh,
days.
yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, absolutely,
Completely.
absolutely. Right, Rupert, I'm going to come to you next. If your
sure.
business strategy were a superhero, what would be its superpower?
Ooh, wow. Well, it is. My strategy is really empathetic, right? So I really try to tap into people and their visions. So, man, I would want to say, I don't want to say witchcraft because that sounds like really bad.
Oh no.
but I guess
Are we
I guess
having
if I
fun
had
with
to,
these answers? Are we having
yeah,
fun with these answers? Yes.
I guess if I had to pick anything, it'd be telepathy, right? Because I ask the same question. My very first question when somebody wants to sit down and talk to me is going to
Mm-hmm.
be, all right, what does a perfect day for you look like, right? Because if I understand what your idea of perfection is, I know sometimes how much you know about your industry because I know automatically if you're limiting yourself or if you
Yeah.
have really big audacious dreams, right? And that helps me know who I'm dealing with the industry. Like I know like how I move in this space with Mediclean Presents, I'm involved with a number of different people doing a number of different things. So the businesses and the ideas are always sometimes really different. I mean, I have an affinity for some things that I have a better understanding of, obviously fashion, music, along in the entertainment lines. But, you know, I've worked in the corporate structure. I have a very strong retail background. I understand store planning and architecture and bits and pieces of IT. So I can tap into some of the experiences that I've had in order to help people personally because I've involved myself in many different businesses. And even though I may not understand fully what somebody does, that simple question lets me know what they think about their goals, right, and their limitations, and that takes a lot of talking to. So I guess long answer, short, it'll be telepathy.
Awesome.
Love it. Love it. It's
Yeah,
important. Being
Fabulous.
I'm
able to
long-winded. I'm sorry.
communicate, it's so important.
Oh,
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
It is.
with
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, not just the people just like you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Right. Black Sands. Now, if your business strategy were an animal, what animal would it be and why?
Ooh, an animal.
An animal.
I would have to say a panther. You
Ah.
know,
Okay.
very agile, okay,
Mm-hmm.
very intentional and what it's doing, okay.
I can see
Mm-hmm.
that.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's stealth, right? It's quiet, it's stealth. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, at the right moment, it kicks into gear
Mm-hmm.
and it
Yeah,
helps and it gets the job done. So yeah, a panther.
big
Actually,
claws and big teeth. And if you've
yeah,
seen the spiky
absolutely.
head Black Sands, it's the big claws and big teeth that you don't want
I felt like I picked the wrong spot to sit in.
This I didn't want to sit next to Rupert because
I know. I keep
No,
getting
you're good.
smacked
You're
by your
good. Oh, I
camera.
can't keep this panel straight. I swear. Right. Okay. Okay.
I'm
Oh,
just
love
kidding. I'm
it.
just kidding.
Brilliant. Love it. Love it. Right, Mark, for you, I'm going to go all
Yes.
the way into space. I love
Oh,
space. I
oh
love
boy.
physics. So maybe we stay in our solar system though. So
Okay.
if your strategy was a planet, what planet would it be?
Mm,
Oof.
That's an intelligent question.
Like
Mm.
loaded.
every
Yeah.
question you ask them, I was trying to come up with the answers, and then you hit me with a completely different one.
Yes, agile.
I can
That's your
only
motto.
apologize.
Agile.
I can
That's
only
right.
apologize.
Appreciate that. Not.
Yeah.
So
And if you guys
um,
have any shows, don't you dare ever ask me these really hard questions.
I'm taking notes.
I'm gonna have a
Oh,
special
take
list. I'm gonna have a
notes,
special
yes.
list for Viva. You wait and see. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna have a special.
no.
Exactly.
Because I was
Exactly.
ready for that superpowers question, so I
Um,
get you, Mark.
yeah, I was ready for the superpower one as well. Dang it. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna give the answer that's slightly more boring, but I really want to bring 2 points behind
Mhm,
it since we are a business strategy, panel.
mhm.
Um, I'm gonna pick Earth because of the
Aw.
phrase down to Earth. Again, it's a
Mm.
little bit
Mhm.
boring, but I
It's
pick
not
Earth
boring.
because of the
I
phrase
like where you're
down
going
to
with this.
Earth. Because of two things. Earlier I want to make another comment which is related to this is I think through the experience of me running my two businesses now,
Mhm,
um, the one key that I kept consistent is finding my own niche.
mhm,
So um, doing something that's different and really being laser focused on that is very important.
mhm,
And how that relates to down to earth is because that niche needs to make sense for other people. You
mhm.
cannot
Mhm.
just like one day say that, hey, I'm going to, well, I mean, Elon Musk kind of did it, but like, if you're just anyone else, I'm going to build a spaceship, right?
Mhm,
Um, well, first of all, can you do it? Second, do you have a market? Right?
mhm,
Third, is it something that only you or only a handful of people can do?
mhm,
So combining the niche aspect and the down to earth, meaning don't go overly fantastical that people don't even understand what you're doing,
Hmm.
is actually really key of deciding an angle for your business,
Yeah.
and then double down, invest in it,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully you will find a market for yourself and become profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So sorry, that's a slightly more boring answer, but yeah, I think
Not
it's a
at
one
all.
that needs
It's
to be said.
insightful. It's insightful. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much
Mm-hmm.
for that. Now, look, before we continue, I want to take a moment to thank my sponsor for the month of July, which happens to be on this couch tonight as well, Boss Leo of Diamond Resilience. Boss Leo, I want to come to you. Tell us a little bit about the Diamond Resilience and what's coming up in terms of events and how people can get involved.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, as I mentioned earlier, the Diamond Resilience is an elite network of creators and pioneers in the Web3 XR space. We are an ecosystem helping creatives get connected to resources, funding, support on their creative journey. And a lot of my projects has been collab project with creators and entrepreneurs in the space to help see that vision come to life and to create revenue generating ventures, and most importantly, to help transform their own story of resilience into impactful ventures. I'm on a mission to help create the next Fortune 500 companies in the Web3 era. And I believe that it is possible when you find balance of doing something that brings you joy and fulfillment, but also bring you income stability as well. And we all have that spark in this space. We want to have businesses, but key word is we have to execute and we have to deliver it on time, and we have to create, as everyone said on stage today, impact and value. So leveraging a project manager from corporate America who have helped corporations deliver multi-million dollar projects, I have no doubt that I can help creators and entrepreneurs make their first 100K or even their first 1 million and
Mm-hmm.
being next gen leaders in this space. So we have a lot happening. We are a growing community. I'm very passionate about that. I have some few collaborations coming up that's tailored to this community. And we also have a growing directory from the exchange, which a lot of people also supported. Our
Mm-hmm.
first night of lunch in December, we traded over $5,000 of skill sets. And we're looking to continue to grow that as well, of supporting each other as well. So we have the Burst of the Bosses this Friday. I'm not going to hint that it's Leo season, but I'm going to hint at it because I'm extra and I'm a Leo. So it's also my birthday and a celebration as well. And
Woo!
it's also a 1 year anniversary of me quitting my job as well, and where I also met Viva Coach. So it's a celebration for those who just took the first step in getting started. So if you're a business and if you're thinking about taking that first step and you're wanting to get connected to an amazing community that can help you in your journey, definitely come check that out this Friday at the Diamond Lounge as well. And we have some amazing things, including our hackathon, which would be a $2,000 pitch competition for our summit. So we're personally sponsoring $2,000 to help you in your venture. And so if you're interested in building a product based business or helping your project get funded, definitely check that out. And definitely check out our summit because we're going to have some fire performances and some amazing speakers and even some companies to really help those who are looking for jobs in this space to really get linked up to companies that are hiring for your skill set. As Rupert
Amazing.
says, everything that you do here in the metaverse, people are getting paid a salary of like 100K plus. And so you can take
Yeah.
what you do and apply that to a real world skill set and get paid for that. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
be bringing
Definitely.
100%.
all of
Mhm.
these opportunities and spaces here to the metaverse. And that's what the Diamonds Resilience is about. It's
Mhm.
about connecting with each other, supporting each other, exchanging skills and resources without a heart attack. Because I'm not going to lie, 10K for a social media strategy, we're using ChatGPT for free. So I want to help people
Right.
in their journey there.
Love it.
So follow me
Perfect.
on Instagram, Boss Leo IO. Follow me, the Diamond Resilience. We're also on Instagram, and we do have a community calendar. So this is an invitation to all of you as well. If you have events, you have programs, you have businesses, please let me know because we do have a live calendar and it is out there to the real world, to my professional network to show them that this is what we have going in the metaverse. Let's show them what we're doing.
Awesome. Awesome.
Hey,
I
Viva,
need
can I say
go
something
on.
before you move on? So first, I want to say you didn't quit your job. You just eliminated a distraction because now you're thriving, right? But I just want to say, right, as a strategist, which is what I do in this space, or a business owner or entrepreneur, like I want people to realize that anybody that tells you that they know everything about the industry that you're doing or whatever path that you're taking that you're looking to help you, I'd be very skeptical about dealing with those people, right? Because we
Mhm.
have to change,
Mhm.
we have to grow, and we don't know everything because it's going to change. Like we've seen it happen real time,
Yeah.
especially where you're in business. But one thing I want to say is like I've worked with every single one of these people with a strategy, but not also in the capacity that I've added value to them. Like it's been reciprocal.
Mhm.
Like I've hired Leo, Leo's hired me. Like I work, exclusively with these people, right? So we all at some point know what we're really good at, but we
Yeah.
also know the deficiencies in the things that will make us better. And I think recognizing the things that you're not good at, and then determine whether or not that's something, as San said, is going to add enough impact to make a difference,
Mhm.
Mhm.
is key to understand that, because there are certain things that I'm not good at. Technology being one of those things, right? I've leaned on all three of these people.
Mhm.
Like, okay, so where's the power button again? Like stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I know for my business, I'm not going to cater to it more than what I need in order to get the job done, because I have professionals next to me that can cater to that, which allows me the time to really focus on the things that I'm good at, right? I'm not a huge fan of necessarily strengthening all of my weaknesses, because quite honestly, they're my weaknesses because I don't care about it and I don't like to do it, right? I'm a much bigger fan on focusing on the things that I'm really good at and making
Mhm.
sure that that is completely solid, and that any deficiencies I have in between that, then I have a panel of experts, or I can reach out to people who do great things. Like for example, like I look into the audience, and Rich, forgive me, but I know I frustrate the crap out of him when it comes to technology with the things that I ask him, right? But because Cyber Shay is understanding of my deficiencies, right? She acts as a great communicator in order for me to get some of those things that I'm not good at, in order to make the things that I need happen. And I think
Yeah.
we really should be looking at our businesses and our times and implement that into our strategies. You don't have to do everything. I promise you. I know it feels like it sometimes. You have to have a basic understanding of each of those roles
Yeah.
within your company or your business, but you don't have to do it all, guys. I promise you, you don't have to. Just do the things you're good at. Start there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
hmm And just have an attitude of stuff. I always call myself a lifelong learner. If there's an element of, that really impacts your business, invest in
Yeah,
that and grow in
yeah.
that. But I have a very targeted and a focused approach to that. Absolutely. Thanks for that, Rupert. But thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Boss Leo, as well. Your support, your insights are invaluable. Thank you for being the sponsor for this month as well. It's always awesome to collaborate with you. And look, like, Boss Leo has suggested, go follow her on Instagram, follow the Diamonds Resilience. There's heaps and heaps of great events coming along, and they're always value adding. And sounds like whatever's happening on this 26th of July, this is going to be loads of fun and a lot of celebration. So we all look
Yes.
forward to that. We all look forward to that, Boss Leo. Right. I'm going to dive back into a few more questions on business strategy, if I may. And Black Sans, I'm going to come to you, Sans.
No universe questions, yeah?
We're done with physics. We're done with physics. We're gonna move into chemistry now.
Oh
Oh
god.
Oh
wow.
Lord. Okay.
I'm
See
just
you.
kidding.
Have
I'm
a good
just
night, everybody.
and that's before we
Oh
go
my
right
goodness.
into maths. No, I'm just kidding. Spied by me knows what I'm talking about here. But, but look, let's dive back into this. So Sans, how do you adapt your business strategy? Because it's one thing developing it right. It's really important to have a very strong strategy. Also important to stay agile. But how do you adapt your business strategy in times of crisis, or unexpected challenges? I mean, we've all seen COVID. We've seen what it did to businesses. What would be your advice?
My big advice is focusing on your vision. Okay.
Hmm.
Go back to your
Mhm.
vision and understand why you started this in the first place and where it
Yeah.
is you're trying to go. Okay.
Hmm.
I almost tanked my business years
Mhm.
ago when I had my daycare, trying to expand a little too quickly. I didn't think about my finances. I didn't think about the staffing. There's a lot of things that I didn't think about. Okay.
Mhm.
And I had to go back to what was the core of why I started the business in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay. And it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to be a millionaire in taking care of children, that I wanted to have, 15, daycares across the city or the
Mhm.
country or anything like that. I wanted to help my community. And
Mhm.
how can I do that in the best way? Okay.
Mhm.
And so that was the big thing that kept me grounded and it kept me more calm. And then I was able to come up with how am I going to fix this mess that I've gotten myself into
Mhm.
and getting back, and luckily I was able to do that with a calm head. I didn't lose one customer, one parent
Mhm.
or anything like that, so that's a big thing with that. Number
Mhm.
two is starting with the sound strategic plan in the first place. And if you do that, you're going to go ahead and have your contingency plans. If this doesn't work,
Yep.
then this is what I'm going to do. And this is
Mhm.
how I'm going
Mhm.
to handle that. A
Mhm.
big thing that people fail to plan for is their finances. And that's usually
Mhm.
the big thing that is going
Yeah.
to be their downfall. And so understanding one, I'm not going to take a risk that I can't handle. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to buy this piece of equipment or pay for this marketing strategy or go into this, collaboration
Yeah.
if I'm not able to lose $20,000, $50,000, whatever I'm investing in it.
Mhm.
And so if you make sound decisions in advance, hopefully you avoid, but you can't avoid everything. We all
Mhm.
have our issues, but you've had that strategic plan that you say, if this happens, then this is what I'm going to do. I have my contingency plan, and you should be able to fall back on that.
Yeah.
Mm,
So it sounds like,
excellent.
reset, sometimes reflect, reset, but also
Yes.
always know where your North Star is and work towards that.
There you
Awesome.
go.
Love it. Really
Yes, ma'am.
like it.
I love
Perfect.
the
And
summary.
yeah.
I love that.
You can see what I do with my clients. I'll go in and I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
that is all great. These are the two things you really need to do. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Science. No, absolutely. I think that's really important though, what you just said there. And also sort of, that contingency bit is often overlooked and never valued until something like COVID hits, right? And then you're like,
Right.
Right.
oh gosh,
Exactly.
it's really needed to be in place. So thank you so much for sharing that. Mark, I'm gonna come to you. So, you
Sure.
you are a tech expert in your real life, you are into project management, etc. There's so many different pieces of technology coming along and it's all happening far too quick, and the growth's
Mhm.
happening real quick as well, right? It's really funny. Just this week I was in an event, a discussion with OpenAI,
Mhm.
and I was talking to Sarah Finn, and she is the go-to-market for EMEA cluster for OpenAI. And she had this slide, and it actually had this email that went out on the day that ChatGPT was released. And it said something like, we're going for a soft launch. We're not expecting big sales or big reaction, but just to let you know, team, we're going today. And we all know what happened with ChatGPT, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
so this is how quickly things are happening. And Sarah was saying that she's actually the first go-to-market expert in OpenAI, whereas everyone else in the team mainly are researchers and those that are kind of, getting the tech right, right? So I say that because so much is happening so quickly. Tech can become really overwhelming when we sort of, you're a business. Do I use this piece of technology? Do I get this software? Do I use this AI tool, etc.? How do you think businesses can navigate through that challenge?
Well, first of all, this is probably more so today in AI, but it's generally true in all technologies, that tools are coming out every day, but the actual useful moment or actual useful feature of those tools are
Mm-hmm.
probably quite limited and limited to specific use cases,
Yeah.
specific scenarios, and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So the first thing is, do not force yourself to go use a tool just because that tool
Mm-hmm.
says AI, just because
Yeah.
that tool
Right.
says advanced marketing technology or whatever
Yeah.
field you are
Yeah.
into.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of marketing.
Tools, they are called tools because they save you time and money, and
Mm-hmm.
or doubles, triples, or whatever the factor is, improves your productivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gets you to where you want to be faster. That's why it's called a tool. So if you um, do give yourself time to do those researches, to try out those tools, to put it in real life business scenarios to see how it works, but do carve out and time box those trial periods, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, I will give myself 2 hours per month, for example, whatever, I'm just coming up random numbers, 2 hours per month to just dive into new technologies and learn there is to it.
Yeah.
But do not do not stress yourself out
Mm-hmm.
with all that. Keep doing whatever works for you. That's the first advice. The
Yeah.
second advice is I would say I have actually started doing this recently. That is subscribe to a few top or renowned newsletters about
Mm.
whatever you are interested in.
Mm,
It's
Mm-hmm.
either it can be news, it can be technology, it can
Yeah.
be tools
Mm-hmm.
updates, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then every morning, the first thing, take about 5 to 10 minutes to go through those newsletter issues and just like skim through it. You don't even
Yeah.
need to go into
Mm-hmm.
the links and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just skim through it so when you have that time you carved out for yourself to try things out, what you
Yeah.
want to try out, and then just move on. Just move on. Do not even let that thing bother you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
great. Great
Absolutely.
advice.
There's so much out there. It can get very tough. I am a great believer in time blocking, and I block half an hour every Friday, and I use that for my own learning. That could be a new tool. That could be just, reading through the
Right.
books that I've bought. Because
Exactly.
sometimes you can buy all these books, and where do you find time to do that, right? So that is my sort of non-negotiable half an hour block on Friday. That is truly just for myself to reflect, to read, to check out these newsletters or a new piece of technology, etc. So it's a really good way to do it, kind of, focus on few and then just really find time to be able to then double down on them as well.
Yeah.
Awesome, fabulous, absolutely fantastic. Right, let's finish off with this fun question.
Oh
Mhm.
Lord,
Oh
here we go.
boy. Oh boy.
I don't know what my spirit animal is, Viva Coach. I do not know what my spirit animal
These people will be broken
What's
into
your
millions
spirit
of pieces
animal's
by the time we finish.
superpower?
Um,
Oh wow.
Right.
right, let's imagine a nice big boardroom. We're all sitting together and we're working on our strategies. Which historical figure would you like to invite to your strategy planning session?
Mm.
So the good thing with this question is the same question for all of you. So whoever I'm going to go first to, well, they've had it, but others, you've got time.
Wow.
I'm going to go to Sans. I'm going to come to you.
Yes. Lord Jesus. I knew she was gonna
That's-
come to me first. That's
Look, he's a good guy too.
crazy.
You've said Jesus right there. He's a good
Yeah,
guy too.
that's a good
Hey,
one.
you know,
That's one
you
heck of a
can't
strategy
go
right there.
wrong with the Almighty. You can't go wrong with
That's
the
it.
Almighty. So you know what? I'm gonna say that.
I love it.
You know,
Wow.
being a
I
Christian
love it.
myself and definitely a believer in God and having to rely on him multiple times and
Mhm.
just give in and say, hey, have your way because I don't know what I'm doing. Because I made my own plan and I forgot that you already had one for me.
Right.
So yeah, he's definitely the best strategist. He's definitely the best one to keep you calm. He's definitely the best one to keep you on the straight and narrow. And he's
Yeah.
definitely the best one to remind you who's really in charge. You know what I'm saying? Because he'll humble you real quick, real
Mhm.
quick. So
Love it.
you definitely need somebody like that on your side that's gonna, be all of those things to you so that you can
Mhm.
remember, why you're here and
Mhm.
what you're called to do.
And stay grounded at the same time. Love it.
And stay
Yeah.
grounded. Yes,
Love
ma'am.
it. Love it. Right. Right.
Down
I'm
to
just,
earth,
I'm thinking, where do I go next? Where do I go next?
I've taken the Almighty. Y'all can't have him.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
hard.
The
man.
big one's
It's
gone. The
hard
big
to
one's
follow.
gone. I'm
Very
gonna
hard
stick
to
with.
follow.
I'm gonna stay with ladies first. So, Boss Leo, I'm coming to you next.
It's me. Okay. The same question. You have to repeat it
Yeah.
for me.
Same question. So, imagine we are having a strategy planning session. Which historical figure would you like to invite to your strategy planning session?
It's funny you said that, and this would definitely be unconventional. But I was thinking, like, I'm ready to talk to Chris Jenner because whatever she did to the 2.0 social media, like, I'm ready to strategize about 3.0 with her when it comes to this one. and Boss Babe. Like I'm so into the social media aspect of it, and I'm big into the creator economy. I
Mm-hmm.
really feel like this is the new business to business that we're
Mm-hmm.
going into is the creators, and social media plays a really big part of that. We're going to a revolution where a lot of creators are switching to revenue based platforms like fan base and free
Yeah.
platforms in VR space. We're in a new era where social media is doing a reset.
Yeah.
And these are the next big things. So I'm really big on planning social media strategy. But you know what? I would have to give it to Gary Vee because
Mm,
he is one
Mm-hmm.
that I've been following.
yeah,
He's an
amazing.
investor of social media. He knows in and out like everything that I'm starting to catch up on, including like LinkedIn. He talks about it, so it's only natural that he sees opportunity in the blockchain and in the metaverse space. So having a strategy with him for marketing, I'm all in.
So you're all about marketing, Boss Leo. We hear you. We hear you. Awesome. Right. Mark, what about you?
Thank you for asking the same question, first of all.
My pleasure.
It gave you time to think
um,
about it.
It's like my
right.
panel
I know. I
absolutely
think
hates
that's
and
the most
detests me, I
thing.
swear.
Mhm.
My answer will have to be Napoleon or any other great
Oh.
generals who has won hundreds of battles.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And the reason for that is business is like a battle or even a
Mm-hmm.
war or
Mm-hmm.
warfare that
Mm-hmm.
you have a lot of people when they think about these things they think about the core of that event, the
Mm-hmm.
actual fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what makes up for a successful warfare or anything like that is not only the actual fighting and the skills and the weapons and stuff like that, but it's also the hundreds of logistical things and operational things behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that if I have any great general who is able to not only win a great war, right? Maybe that has element of luck, that has, but hundreds of wars,
Mm-hmm.
right? If someone who can do that, then this person will sure as heck able to plan things out for me and assist me in my business journey. So yeah, generals.
Awesome. Great answer. Brilliant. And finally, Rupert.
Wow, so that's a loaded question. So, I have two people in mind, right? But
Mm-hmm.
for two very different reasons, and I will pick just one. But the first one that initially comes to mind, like I'm a huge fan of Steve Jobs. I think what he was able to
Mm-hmm.
do
Mhm.
with introducing a new product
Yeah.
into a very normal thing, I think it's important, right? Like my strategy is always never reinvent the wheel. And
Yeah.
even though the iPhone was a completely new product, it still solved the issue of communication, which we had been doing for thousands of years, right? But even though I love his vision, I don't always necessarily agree with the way that he does it. He was a bit of a bulldog in the boardroom to get his vision
Mm-hmm.
across. And as a visionary, sometimes you have to be that person because you can't let people distract you from what your
Mm-hmm.
ultimate vision is. But I think if I had to land on somebody, I would say Marcus Garvey.
Mm.
Because his approach, so
Mhm.
Marcus Garvey, for those that don't know, was a Jamaican leader. He was very impactful into the black voice being prevalent in a time where our voices were being either subsided or just completely ignored, right? But he didn't approach it from a standpoint that our voices were necessarily going to be louder than everybody else. But what he did, he made people believe that they were worthy enough to have a
Yeah.
voice, which is really my strategy in
Mm-hmm.
this space, right? I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe if you inspire somebody enough to post that social media posting, hit that publish button, just take action on their dreams, sometimes that is all you need because you have to get started. Like, we're all phenomenal planners that sit on this couch, but until we
Mhm.
take action and execute, it doesn't really
Mhm.
matter. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people who are so much smarter and talented than me that never execute, and what
Mm.
purpose does that serve if you don't ever
Yeah.
move forward with your dreams? And that always resonates with me as I look at
Mm-hmm.
his journey.
Mm-hmm.
Even I don't like to make comparisons, but if you look at two prominent figures, right, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, who both had the same goal but had very different strategies, right? One was by
Mhm.
any means necessary, one was about peace. Like, Marcus Garvey's strategy was about, listen, you're good enough to have those feelings of moving forward, which inspired both of those phenomenal leaders. So I would definitely say Marcus Garvey. Yeah. for what he's able
Thank
to,
you
the way he
so
was able
much.
to inspire people.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, what a fantastic discussion. Would you agree? Would you agree? This has been absolutely fabulous. Now, look, I know we're coming to close, but I do want to give an opportunity. If anyone has a question, you can come onto the floor and ask the panel. We can probably take one, maximum couple of questions.
Hey,
Tony.
Tony.
What's good, everybody? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can. We
What's
can
up?
What's
indeed.
good? What's good? I'm about to have a Kanye moment right now. I'm playing. I just want to say that last question there about the historic figure from the past. I was like, yo, this is crazy because each of you guys said kind of the sort of person I was thinking of. So starting out with Black Sands, I was thinking Prophet Muhammad, right? Because those historic figures are true influences, right? Because look, thousands and thousands of years have passed and the movement is still going. You know what I mean? And then with Marx
They
and
will have
Napoleon,
millions of IG follows.
right? So many
Oh, yeah.
IG followers.
Oh,
You know
but
what I mean?
imagine we
I
would
think-
never be able to compete, right? Oh,
I think they
God.
do already, yeah. And then they've been gone for thousands of years. And still
Right,
got a
right.
big
That's
IG
called
following them.
organic,
Oh, man.
organic following, right? And then Mark with Napoleon. Yeah, I agree with that. I was literally thinking Napoleon in my head, and then you said it. I was like, yo. and then with Rupert saying Steve Jobs, I've always said the exact same what you said. You know, don't try to reinvent the wheel. When I came into the metaverse, I didn't come in to do events. And when I noticed, you know, this is an event-centered sort of platform, I gravitated towards that kind of thing. So I've always drawn a lot of big inspiration from, you know, Prophet Muhammad, Steve Jobs, like those kind of figures, right? Like in different realms, not to be compared, but like, so when you guys were answering those questions, I was like, yo, that's crazy. I didn't quite catch Leo's because I had connection issues, but that shit was crazy. That was a vibe.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank
So I
you,
think a
Tony.
lot of kudos to the panel. Well done, panel. Second Life Rich.
Hey, thank you.
Hey,
Hey,
Rich.
everyone. First of all, thank you so much. All of you did great. I loved hearing all of your stories. And thank you, Viva Coach. This has been great. My question is for Mark's verse. So, Mark's verse, I'm just wondering, regarding your technology, do you have like an API access or something like that for Horizon? Or can you just speak a little bit about how the back end works? Just curious.
First of all, yeah. I can share a little bit, which the first question to answer is no, I do not have an API access. I would dream to have that capability.
Imagine.
I know you're a tech guy, so I know we're thinking similarly there. No, I just hack around and find a way that I was able to not break Horizon or violate any community, rules to do it. And no, it's not a super mature or foolproof system like an API would bring you. And it does require a bot to operate. But luckily, today in the business environment, as I said, I have been immersed in this specific niche area. Again, I talked about niche. That is very important to me. Immersing myself in this niche area for 2+ years now, and one observation I made is a business focused world does not get a ton of organic visits on a day there are no events. For example, Viva
Right.
has a really beautiful world right here, but if she is not having this panel discussion, there won't be this crowd in her space right now. So I was able to leverage that observation and fact to make it an event-based system. So I'm able to activate the system with the bot to achieve what the system does. And that's all I'm gonna share.
Love it.
Thank
Very
you.
innovative.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Lovely. Look, now this just been so fantastic. I want to thank my panelists for sharing their wisdom and experiences and insights. Before we wrap up, I want to give a huge, get ready for all these confettis to go in the air. I want to give a huge shout out to Rupert. Woohoo!
Yay.
Oh, really?
My
And
man.
to
What?
Boss Leo. Boss Leo.
okay.
Woo!
Boss Leo.
Yay! You with
I
us,
thought it was just for me. It
Sans?
scared me for a minute. It's like, what did I do? What did
Sans, yay! And
Yes.
Marksworth, thank you so
Yes.
much for being my
Thank you.
awesome panel. And look, I want to remind everyone as well about the upcoming events. So the next Viva Masterclass is on financial fitness boot camp. Month of August is all about financial fitness. There's some absolutely fantastic ideas I have in mind to bring throughout that month. I do a lot around finance in giving sort of that opportunity to women as well to grow and for them to have that economical impact as well and positive impact. So there'll be a lot more coming throughout the month around all of that too. So do look out for that. And the tickets can be bought, of course, using Markworth's system in the world. So after this event, you can go to the Viva shop and buy your masterclass tickets there. But of course, if you have any questions, you can always DM me. If this is your first time in this world, please do like the world, save the world, and do visit another time too. I am in here in and out, so you can always come in and say hello. And also, of course, don't miss out the Birth of the Bosses event on July 22nd, hosted by the Diamond Resilience, as Boss Leah was telling us earlier. And finally, make sure to join us next month for the Viva podcast as well as the Viva Talk too. And right, all that's left to say now is thank you so very much for coming along and making this event such a successful one. I have had so much fun with my panel. Hopefully, apart from some of those questions, you've also managed to have some fun. But this has really been super insightful. So before I say good evening, good rest of your day, please do jump onto the stage and we'll take a picture with our panel before you go away with your busy days. So let's do that. Thank you so much, everyone.